You've been through abandoning your highest good, your highest consciousness, which brought two children into the world. She has two children as well. That's what you abandoned. You abandoned that, you went into your own ego. Simple as that. I'm not going to diagnose you, but that's exactly what happened. So we're at this vacation back east a couple of years ago. The other two children were there, her stepchildren. It was great to be with everyone. We had so much fun. Just did. I have videos of it, of her sharing this cart with me that goes down mountains like a roller coaster. I mean, it's just hiking, and swimming, and everything together. Everybody, wiffle ball. And she left early, which is a little suspicious for me. She flew back early while we all stayed. Me and all the kids, the older ones, younger ones. The younger ones came back. And we moved into this house, a rental house, as sort of an emergency because we sold the other one, but then it didn't sell. So we waited months for it to sell. So when I came back, I was starting to get suspicious because I was noticing stealing of money. I was noticing, obviously, the other things I've described to you. You believe this, by the way, how many things that she's done, this good person? It's a lot. So here's what she did next. This is guided by this leader. You go, girl. This toxic femininity that treats men horribly. Horribly. The disrespect for the sacrifices and the love. She described me in those letters. That is me. Yes, I'll jump to solution. I jump to forgiveness. I jump to love. I express the love. No matter how much she's being mean and unkind, I still become from that loving place. I'm not going to be a doormat, obviously, and I do have my reactions, but that's who I am. It's why we had a great marriage for a long time. Sees me for who I am. I see her for who she is. I used to just think that she was, anyway, you've heard that before. I truly a magnificent human being. So I come back and we finally sold the house. And it was really a big bummer. We lost hundreds of thousands on the deal that the ones backed off on. And then suddenly it was a quiet, it was just interest rates all of a sudden went up and so we were lucky to sell the house at this amount, but it was the house I bought before I knew her. And with my ex-wife at the time, tell you about that ex is how beautiful she is. I gave her the house. That's what I do. I'm generous. Moved back to this other house, in Sherman Oaks, and ways away. I still kept another house nearby so I could coach the kids and be there for them at their schools. I made sure that everybody was comfortable. And one day, and I'm proud of my credit because I come from poverty. I'm proud of my credit. But one day I was at Barney's and I said, here you go. I'll get 10% off if I get a new credit card from Barney's. And I said, sorry, you're declined. I said, oh, try it again. I was very cocky with my credit. So proud when I remember when I bought the first house, this other house, my business manager said, you can have any house you want. You have great credit. I was like, wow, that's awesome. It's so wonderful to feel that success. Be able to provide for this family, this dream family, right? So dreams are broken a lot. So that wife from the past, she purposely took my name. She never took my name off of all the credit cards and everything else. She purposely ran it into foreclosure, the house. This is how vindictive she is. Purposely, she told my business manager that. Vengeful. Do anything to get custody, full custody, anything. She went to any length. I kept standing there. It was hard. It's hard not to attack back when you're all this. And then that was another thing. Now my credit's down. So she was going to have the house foreclosed, and I didn't want the kids again to be in more disarray, more chaos. So I bought the house, or from her. So then we move in. Me and Lotus, who are now married, we move in. She saged the place. We laughed about it to get the evil spirits out of there because she had a tough time with her as well, which is amazing how she's imitating her now. She's acting like her, knowing the pain that she put us through. And now she's going to put me and these kids through the same similar pain of lies and accusations and bad defamation and all that. She's doing this. It's amazing that she went through that, and it was painful for all of us. So get the house, 2 children born in the house, home birth. Not my jam, but it was hers, my little hippie. I do bits of my comedy act about it, true stories, and 21 hours of labor. The midwife said, have sex with her and that'll get the baby out. On sex. I don't know, the kid's right there. I can see him, So anyway, flooded the place, because it was a tub and it got flooded. And then we built a beautiful addition to this house that we had together. It was just amazing. And there was such a beautiful tub in there that we gave birth to Chloe in there, our second child. But then after Chloe came, she got involved with Raven and Broke and cult activities and all of this because she wanted to find herself. She didn't want to just be a mom. I get it. I understand. I have compassion and empathy for it. That's the direction she took. Still not earning her own money, though. Own money, it's in quotes. So I was suspicious when we sold the house. I just had a little suspicion. I said, and also she would criticize me over money. And I remember one time I got a BMW. She cried in the parking lot. It was embarrassing. I remember when I was buying that house down the Jersey Shore, she cried then, why would you do this? You're abusive. She called it abusive. And I was like, oh, something's weird here. So I put us on camera. I still have the video. I'll show you if you ask me. I said, hey, with this money that's coming in, let's have an agreement. And unless we agree, we won't spend over, I think I was $750 or something, or $1,000. And anyway, she protested a little bit, it was some other number. I'm like, oh, whatever. We're not going to touch this money. We're going to come to agreements. And we put it all on video. Standing in the house that was just sold, empty kitchen. There we were, did this video. And she was so cold. When she turned to the camera, you could see the detachment in her eyes. That's where she can go easily, like a criminal. She's a criminal. She has no conscience. And this unconscious person doesn't care about me or even the children at this point, because what she's about to do. She turns it, she says, we're not going to touch this money. And I agreed too. I'm not going to, as even Stephen. And she convinces me to sign the title over to her because it was not in her name, because it was bought before. She convinced me, and I did the honorable thing. This being honorable, by the way, kind of sucks. Sucks. And hear what happened. We have a joint bank account. She made me open up a joint bank account, which is where the money went. I went away. I did the Sherry Shepherd show. I love Sherry, and she had me on as special guest, and I had a wonderful time in New York. I see my friends. I love to go to New York, especially certain times a year where you can just be outside, and it's just a great time. And I'm literally in such a great place in my life, a spiritual place. I was literally calling her with prayers, calling her with affirmations, calling her with great spirit. And I wasn't hearing back. So she's going to pick me up at the airport, which was always a deal that we had. If I'm going to work so hard, you guys pick me up. Now, she didn't do it all the time, but she had an agreement she was going to pick me up. And I land with the anticipation. I'm going to see her after this, exhausting trip of work and everything, but also an uplifting trip. I loved hanging with Sherry on this new television show. It was really cool. And she says, read your email. And I went to my email. I will not be picking you up at the airport. What? I'm divorcing you. I filed for divorce. And I took the kids. She took the kids against their will. They have no issues with me. They've only had issues with her. They've only witnessed her violence. I took the kids. She went to one of her safe houses. Didn't tell me where she was. Took their phones. So now I'm like scrambling. What the hell's going on here? You just imagine that. Person you've pledged to, a person you've given everything to, a person you've been supportive of, loving of, supported all of her businesses, even all the failed businesses, hundreds of thousands of dollars into these businesses, 80,000 ripped off on the broke slash Raven thing, even more with all the crypto and the mommy minutes and all these investments have been made, the RX, the soap, all those things in the water system, buy the water system, $6,000 for that coaching program, $9,000. There's a long supporting of these medicine journeys, 2 medicine journeys, which might have even messed up her brain. I don't know. I didn't even know who the person was. The person who's a shaman is also a coach and all these other things. There's all the craziness that I had to endure, but I wasn't enduring because I was just going, oh, just be supportive, man. And that's where it got me. I went into full panic. You've got to be kidding me. There's no warning. Come back to the house. It's empty. I was locked out of the house. What am I? I can't get a hold of her. Of course, she's not going to answer her phone. That's how she operates. I didn't know where the kids were. So I had to wait. And I showed up at the drop-off place. She's acting like I'm an abuser because I'm at the drop-off place. Are you kidding me? I went right to the principal and I told them, of course, they don't want to hear that. Both principals, they don't want to hear that. By the way, they're going to think it's me again. She kidnapped these kids. It's the second time she's kidnapped them. She did it the time that I was arrested. She had me arrested on false charges. She did the same thing then. Took them away to an undisclosed location. Told, you're not talking to daddy. I'm taking your phone. They have no idea. This is what's going to be in their memories for the rest of their lives. The embarrassment of me having to show up at school, being kidnapped and taken away from their dad who they love and they've never seen one single issue with, not one. I have them recorded. They told the therapist flat out, mom is the violent one. Mom's the one who runs away. Mom's the one who does it. Dad's never done any of those things. I'm so happy, by the way, that at least I have witnesses. I don't want to subject them to it. I am thinking about even having them on here. People say putting them in the middle. They are in the middle. They're in the middle. They're in pain. They told me tonight about they're upset that, she's telling them about her boyfriend and his name and all this kind of stuff when she actually said, let's not tell them that, this, she doesn't honor one single commitment. And they're not happy with any of her actions. If she was this woman that I read these notes from, if she just gave it one little more of a try instead of giving up. And I noticed the pattern. Again, I see the red flags and paint them green. She did have a pattern of quitting. We first got together, I was so, oh my God, I was so, like my ex before that was never worked and just was sponging money and paid her $12,000 a month and just awful. And I had to spend $1 million holding on to 50% custody. Then she didn't get 1 ounce more custody because none of it was true. But still, you got to prove it, and that's tough to prove. Lawyers, just all this stuff. Mess. Just want to live a happy, serene life. That's what I thought I was going to lead with this wife. And we did for a while, even though we had that other attacking. That still went on. Whew. I got to take a breath right now. I think about it. It's traumatic. When I got off that plane and read that email, was a shock to my system that I've